There we go. Recording in progress. It's Tuesday night once again, as it happens almost every week. And I'm Bobby Gray here to join you to chat about my favorite thing, TexitCoin. Welcome to another Miners Update with your host, Bobby Gray. I got Tim out there. I got Rob out there. We've got 368 people on the call so far. Thanks so much, everybody, for taking time out of your evening to join us. We got a lot to talk about again, as usual. Thanks so much. A couple of things, housekeeping things. We've got a chat that's live right now. Feel free to jump in there and say nice things or troll, as the case may be. If you've got questions, legitimate questions, pop them into the Q&A one time, just once, please. Just one time in the Q&A. We will try to get to everything if we can. Some things we skip because we can find the information elsewhere. Some things we skip because, I don't know, we just don't feel like answering it. But we'll get to as much as we can. I'm here. I'm yours for a couple hours every Tuesday night. This is our time to connect. There's a lot going on these days. Hopefully we can spend 2 hours of quality time together and I can go home and have a flat iron steak that my woman is preparing for me tonight. Thanks, woman, if you're tuned in. Let's see if she's here. Gosh, I don't see her yet. Oh, she's here with the top secret number. Robbie Rue, welcome. Good evening. I like your similar background, but with the rocket ship. Do I have a rocket ship in mind? No, I don't.
Okay, I could make you an armadillo, whatever you want.
Yeah, put something fun out there for me. I'd appreciate that. Okay, we're recording. This thing is live. It's serious. And let's begin. Okay, so are we supposed to do like the normal the normal boardroom update from everybody else? Do we have
We
everyone
we
else?
were we were gonna skip that tonight since you had a lot to cover, but I wouldn't mind going over the Christmas parade and a little bit of housekeeping requests on that.
Yeah. Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead. Take us away. What's going on?
thank you. So TexitCoin saving Christmas, everyone. This is going to be amazing. It's usually the Neiman Marcus Christmas parade, but this year is the TexitCoin Christmas parade. We need a lot of help from our community as we will save Christmas this year. TexitCoin is proud to be a major sponsor, and this is one of the main reasons this thing's going to happen. So we need 75 people that would like to walk in the parade itself.
75.
We need 25 people who will be working balloons in the parade, and they are required to have a day of training or some sort of training a few days before. So if you want to be a balloon person, realize it comes with a little bit of training and self-awareness, probably so you don't fly off into outer space or something. And then we have 200 people that we can have in special stands watching the parade. So if you would love to come down and watch the parade, bring your family, or if you'd love to come help us volunteer, we will take every man, woman, and relatively older child.
Is there an age requirement? Hey, give us the details real quick on when and where. This is in Dallas.
Yes. And this is going to be on the 6th, I believe, of
December 6th in Dallas.
Yep. And we'll have more info on the training and things like that, and where people can sign up. But in the meanwhile, Kristen with a K, Kristen at blockchainmint.com. We would love all hands on deck for this thing. This thing's going to be amazing, and we can use all of y'all's help. Oh, look at you getting all fancy already.
I'm inside of that rocket.
I like that one. I think that's cool. But please, everyone, please, we need you. We can't do this alone.
It's team effort over here, people. We need help driving. Are we driving, or they have professional drivers for the floats? Hopefully they have professional drivers.
Yeah. So we're also, we think we've got all the trucks lined up to pull the floats. You will not, unfortunately, be able to drive your own truck because they will have professional people.
And that's probably a good thing. That's probably a
Yeah.
good thing. We don't want to be on the news with that story.
No,
So yeah, professional
no.
drivers.
And then
Probably
we've secured maybe 9 to 10 cars. They're looking for class, looking for exotics. So if
okay.
you've got something you'd like to participate in. Anyway, blow up Kristen's email. She's gonna love me tomorrow if she's watching this.
All right, cool. So Dallas Parade, looking for volunteers. Do we have a link where people can go to volunteer, or is that just bombard Kristen with email?
Yeah, bombard Kristen at this point. We are working on a link.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that update. And if there's anybody else out there from the team that's got something to add or important to update us on, feel free to interrupt my little, I don't know what we call these things, my little update. Let me know and we'll stop the regularly scheduled program and try to squeeze it in. But what do I want to talk about tonight? I want to talk about um, how far we've come. I published an article just a few minutes ago, right before this call started, that I call From Glamour to Grind. And it's a great, I think it's a great article. I wrote it. So I'm obviously biased, but I want to call attention to what's coming our way because we're not small anymore. We are on the radar. We are, in Dallas, Houston, Miami, Orlando. What else? I guess we got LAX and the other one's coming soon. I think I'm still not supposed to say that Denver is coming soon. Um, but we're getting pretty big and we're going to be in the limelight. And that limelight is going to cast quite a bit of a shadow. And I just want to remind everybody about what happens as we grow up, what happens as this project matures. And we were just talking, you, me, and Tim, we're just talking a few minutes ago in his office about that we live in a little bit of this TexitCoin bubble. And inside the bubble, it's really warm and cozy. We're doing very well. People tell us that we're experiencing life-changing results, whether that's through monetizing TexitCoin or that's through weekly commission or bonuses, or just you're having a great time. You're learning new things. You're making new friends. You're going on trips and adventures and connecting with people. I mean, we've heard those stories as well. And so I would say we're doing extremely well. And I'm very happy with that. I'm very proud of it. I think that we've worked hard and that we've deserve to enjoy the fruits of our labors. But I want to remind us that we're living in a little bit of a Texacoin bubble. And outside of the bubble, the world is struggling still. And we talked a little bit about that as well with this holiday parade coming up because, it sounds fun to drive our exotics and antiques and show off in this parade, but you look at the statistics and you see that people are visiting these shelters and these food banks in record numbers now. And so we have to remember that. We have to remember that the world is struggling. Things are weird. They're getting weirder. And so we have to stop every once in a while and just kind of take stock on where we are and look back for a minute at how far we've come to get to where we are today. And this is especially important because so many of the people that are mining with us are new. In fact, if you look at the numbers and you go back to, the number of people that we've welcomed to our mining program over the last, I know, let's say 6 months. Let's look at the last couple of months. We were at back in May, we were at 6,000 miners. We're 9 times that today. So just 4 months ago, 4, 5, 6 months ago, 6 months ago, we were 1/9 the size that we are today. And even going back just a month or so, adding 10,000 plus miners in the last couple of weeks. It's huge growth. And so we don't want to look back and second guess things that we've done. We don't want to look back and judge ourselves harshly. We don't want to look back and try to think of all the things we would have done different if we could do it all over again. What we want to do is we want to look back briefly from time to time just to remember to appreciate where we are today and how far we've come. And so I want to go through the entire project with you guys real quick. Not like the 2 hour version, but the real quick version. And I want to do that because I need us to take stock of how far we've come and how incredibly well we're doing. Part of the reason for that is because of what's going on today in the market. And where do I have the market? It's over here, coin market cap. The whole market is struggling. We're coming up here on extreme fear in the market. We've slid down over the last couple of days. Bitcoin's off 10% in just the last week. Ethereum has even hit harder. Other things like XRP, Solana down 20%. It's been a rough week for crypto, but it's been a rough week for a lot of things all across the board, which is very strange because, from what I heard, I have no idea if it's true, but we've got, something that resembles quantitative easing starting back up, the Fed injecting billions and billions of dollars into this very fragile banking system. You think things like that would drive the value of assets up, but even in gold, we're seeing gold sliding as well. Let's pull up a gold chart here real quick. Kitco.com. So view charts and more. There's our chart. Load the chart. There we go. Gold sliding. Let's look at the the 1 month gold trend. Gold peaked about $4,400 an ounce. 6 months, we are way, way, way far off our high. You would think that these assets would be skyrocketing with the dollar showing, more weakness. And so it's extremely difficult to predict, where these markets are, where they're going. And it's also extremely easy to think about how all those things are going to affect us here at TexitCoin. And so again, I just want to take a moment and review and look back real quick to see where this project started and how we got to where we are today so that you can get a better idea of where we're going and how we're likely to get there regardless of what's happening outside of these walls. So we're on week 84 right now. And just to show you kind of, what's been happening over the last couple of weeks, week 84 was good for us. Week 83, we wrapped up 83. We did $6.8 million in sales. We made a new rule for the Supernova bonus that if we beat the previous week, it would be one level. If we exceeded the previous week by more than 10%, we would get to a second level in that bonus. And so, here we are. We're on week 84 now. Are we on week 85? I think we're on 84. I think we're on 84 now.
84.
Does anybody know? Let's go with week 84. I'll double check it in a second. But I think week 83 wrapped up very nicely. And so, we're seeing our sales turn back into the black, which is great. But if we change this chart here, we look at it by quarter, we can see that, we were doing nothing back in the early days. And, we're doing so well. We're doing so well. Okay, I'm going to find my point here in a second. So, trip down memory lane. I started this project in early 2024 because I was sure that there was a better way to do honest money. Remember, I'm coming from 16 years of gold and silver experience at this point, multiple coin manufacturing facilities, community currencies, running in places all over the country. And I'm looking at it, I'm saying, I know there's a better way. The world doesn't seem to be wanting to go back to the days of the horse and buggy. The world's not making any more gold and silver coin buyers. All these people that are collecting precious metals are aging. And if we're going to be successful at this mission of honest money, we're going to have to use powerful tools of today's time. And I was kind of like getting to the point where I was convinced that crypto was the way to go. And remember, that took me about a dozen years to like make peace with that. Going all the way back to 2017 when I first saw the crypto mania spreading all over the world. But I knew that I wanted to carry forth this torch of honest money, and I was highly confident that crypto was the way to do it. Which crypto? Is it Bitcoin, the OG? Is it Ethereum, the one that you can build these smart contracts and RWAs and meme coins and all this fun stuff on top of? I studied the crypto market and I was really shocked to find out that most cryptos today are controlled by China. And that didn't really bother me because, living in Asia for 7 years, I've become quite comfortable and familiar and, also a big fan of some parts of Asian culture. But I knew that if we were going to be successful in this mission of honest money, we had to have control of the network, the thing that's processing the zeros and ones, the thing that's keeping a record of all the balances and transactions. We were going to need to have control of that here. And, I looked at all the different things that are out there. I decided that nobody was doing it exactly the right way. And that's when I started TexitCoin, which only happens 1,000 times every day. So we're up against the odds. We're trying to figure out how to get this cryptocurrency started. And I came to the conclusion that we can, in fact, start our own crypto and we can make a reasonable plan that'll get us into the top 100 cryptos of the world with $1 billion value. I don't think that that was incredibly far fetched back then. And, so I put together a plan that would get us there. And what I decided was that we are going to build a cryptocurrency mine. Mining is becoming this big hot thing, especially here in Texas, where land and energy are abundant and inexpensive. And so I looked at the landscape and I saw that other people did it, so I knew that it was possible. I knew that that we weren't going to be able to do it without a big community of support. And so we were going to embark on this journey to build a mine in Texas. And if we wanted to have a valuable coin, we were going to have a big mine. And those are the dots that I pinpointed back in the very early days. If we wanted to have a coin that was $1 billion value, we're going to have, this big, well-respected mine. And that there was going to be a direct correlation between the size of the mine and the value of the coin. And so I started looking historically at these charts of mineable coins. And of course, I found this correlation between, the size of the mine and the value of the coin. And here's a list on CoinMarketCap of all the mineable coins. And you can take their hash power and the value of the coin, and you can lay those charts on top of each other, and you can see that connection between size of the mine and value of the coin. And the reason that that connection is there is a couple things. Number one, the cost to produce the actual digital asset that is created by the mine. So the more expensive it is to mine the coin, the higher the price is that the miners are going to take that digital asset to market when they go to monetize it and sell it to pay their electric bills. But I also know that proof of work, which is what goes into cryptocurrency mining, equals trust, right? And the bigger the mine, the more trustworthy that decentralized network becomes. If you've got a teeny tiny little mine that's running on a laptop in the basement of your, house, it's not very well respected. It's not mission critical. It's not something that you can convince other people to use and build on top of. And so there's a connection between the size of the mine, the power it consumes, and the value of the coin. And again, there are plenty of examples out there that show us the connection between those two. So I decided that I was going to build this huge mine. How big? Well, like gigantic, 35 megawatts was the number that I settled on. I did some research, talked to the experts, and I said, how big does this mine have to get in order for the world to take us seriously, to use the network, respect and use the network? And the experts came back and they did their calculations and they said you're going to need about like 35 megawatts. And in terms of hash power, that actually comes out to about 100 million mega hash. And so I want to show you a chart here real quick because this is really where the basis of this argument for price comes in. So you look at these mineable coins and you look at the Litecoin hash rate. And this is interesting because when I started TexitCoin, it was in January of 2024. And if you look at the size of the Litecoin network back in January of 2024, you can see that the network was running at about, it was about 1 billion mega hash. And I know that these numbers are confusing. I'm going to help make sense of them here in just a second. But you can see in early 2024, Litecoin network is running at 961. Is that terahash? Let's scroll down a little bit. Terahash, right? So it's running at about 1 terahash. Oh, sorry, about 1,000 terahash. These numbers are going to get more confusing in about a second. It was running at about 1 petahash in early 2024, a little less than. And so my argument was that if we could build a network that ran at 100 million megahash, let's do the conversion for us here real quick. So we take the 1 petahash, right? Multiply it by 1,000 to get to terahash, multiply it by 1,000 to get to gigahash, and then multiply it by 1,000 to get to megahash. And there you can see there's the 1 billion megahash, right? So just with an apples to apples comparison, I said, if I can build this mine, this 100 million megahash mine, we'll have a coin that's about 10% of the processing power of Litecoin and Doge. I learned kind of later that those networks share background, which is actually really important for our story. But I said, if we can build this network to about 1/10 of the size of these major coins that are, globally respected coins, then I think it stands to reason that we can have a coin that's about 10% as valuable as these coins. And so I went and looked at the value of these coins on the exchange and added up that Litecoin, we can use today's numbers, and I'm going to have it all make sense in just a second. But there's Doge at about $24.6 billion value, 24.6. And there's Litecoin a little bit further down the list with a 6.4 plus 6.4, $31 billion value today. Now, let's continue with my theory for just a second and take a look at where we are today, because the Litecoin network has grown quite a bit. Litecoin Doge network has grown quite a bit to where it is today. And today we're actually all the way up at about 3.5 petahash. How do we go from petahash back to megahash? Well, let's do the math. 3.5 petahash times 1,000 to get to terahash times 1,000 to get to gigahash times to 1,000 to get to megahash. So the network of Litecoin in the last year and 11 months has gone up by more than 3.5x. And so if we create this 100 million megahash network and we divide that by the 3.5 billion that is Litecoin Doge today, we're talking about creating a network that's about 2.8% the size of Litecoin Doge. All right. Now, remember, those numbers were very different 1 year and 10, 11 months ago when we started this thing. But let's just use the numbers that we have today. So we build this 100 million megahash, I think at 2.85% of the size of the Litecoin Doge network, that we could be about 2.85 times or percent of the value. And so we take the 2.8% and we multiply that by Litecoin Doge combined, which we just figured a second ago was $31 billion. So we take this number and we multiply it by $31 billion and we get a value of 885 million. If we can do that by February of 2026, when we've got about 62,500,000 coins, then that could put us at about $14 value. So again, remember, these numbers are constantly in flux. They're changing and modifying over time, but that's where we started. We started with the idea that we wanted to build a cryptocurrency. We wanted to do it the old-fashioned way with proof of work. Why proof of work? Because that's trust. That's the backbone. That's the decentralized network that gives participants an opportunity to contribute to the power of the network and get a reward. Now, mining for everybody else on planet Earth is all but a waste. For us, we like the idea of having the people that are creating the money to be involved in that process and getting a daily reward for their contribution. And so I said, let's cap the size of the mine at 100 million megahash. It's a huge number. It puts us on the global scale. We're taking 2.8%. Back then, it could have been 10%. Today, it's 2.8% of Litecoin Doge blocks. We've got a plan on how to deal with that later. But we're talking about building this huge network and projecting a value that's related to how big we are in comparison to some of the other bigger cryptocurrency networks that are out there. You can take Litecoin Doge. You could also compare it to Bitcoin. If you wanted to draw the comparison with Bitcoin, you'd have to use power consumption because the script aux POW mining hashing algorithm actually doesn't compute apples to apples with Bitcoin's SHA-256. So you'd have to use power and do some more calculations, but the same numbers hold up. So if we build a network that's this big, it stands to reason we're going to have a coin that's about this valuable. And again, that number last year was about $16 with $1 billion value. You can take a look at how the numbers have changed. If you want to go back and look at the numbers historically, you'll see exactly where that math began. But again, the point is that we decided from an early moment that we were going to build a mine. And that's the entire point of this project. And by building a mine, we believe that we can create a coin that's respected and used. And so the question then becomes, how have we done? We're 83, 84 weeks into this deal. How did we do? A lot of people have joined in just the last couple of weeks. Many more people have joined in just the last couple of months. And so you guys are looking at this project and you're saying, okay, well, I only see what has happened in the last week. This week's been rough. We've had security concerns. The price is down 5, 10%. Like, what's going on? And again, that's why we want to take this real quick pause and look backwards to see how far we've come, how we started with this theory. The idea is that we can start our own cryptocurrency and we can have it create or have it obtain a real world value. The premise is that we can get there by building this 100 million mega hash network. And as we build this network, we'll see our coin rise in value and respect. And those are the dots. The size of the mine is directly related to the value of the coin. That's the premise. That's the experiment. That's the theory. That's the idea that I came up with. Now, these ideas and theories are great, but you got to have a plan. And so I went back and I looked at how some of these other guys built mines. They use things like network marketing, those dirty letters, MLM, that all of us are afraid to use, except for me. And I said, these other guys did it. Where did they do it right and where did they mess it up? Well, let's learn from all their mistakes. Let's, take out all the creepiness and the sliminess and the scamminess, and let's use transparency to light the path forward, because they had some stuff that worked really well. I mean, these guys, they brought millions of people in, they raised billions of dollars. If we want to use those same tactics or similar strategies to get to where we want to go, we can, but we just have to get rid of all the garbage. And so that was the theory. That was what we used as our plan. That's what we called the playbook back in the early days, this referral marketing system that was going to allow us to build out our community as we start building out our mine. And if you read the article that I published just a few minutes before our call started, we talk about hash power and we talk about heart power. We talk about the size of the mine, the size of the motor, the horsepower of this thing, how big it can get, how reliable and decentralized and trustworthy this backbone can get. And we talk about heart power. We talk about, passion. We talk about a community of advocates that really want to see this coin win. It's the same thing that Bitcoin had 10, 12 years ago. They had people going out to gun shows and coin shows and county fairs and festivals and setting up tables and passing out brochures and tipping people. Here's a Bitcoin for you and a Bitcoin for you. And people laughed at it. They forgot all about it. But you need both of those things to be successful. And there are people out there that did these things for a while, at least successfully, and we can learn from these. That's the playbook. That's the strategy. And when I started this thing and I invited my friends and my family to come along for the journey, I said, look, I got a theory. I think I can do this. I've been successful at community currencies in the past. I've been successful at building factories. I've been successful at three-phase power and industrial, pumps and heat transfers and exchangers and all this other stuff. So I think I can do this. It's just a theory. I don't have much going for me, but I'll bet the farm on it. I'll put some cash in my pocket to get this party started. And let's see if we can sell some hash power to, continue to fund the way. And I made 3 promises. I told people that if you join me, you put that cash down on the table, you place that bet, you took that leap of faith, I'd do 3 things. I'd build the mine, I'd pay out the referral commissions, and I'd promote our coin. And 83, 84 weeks later, I think we've done a pretty incredible job. And I am overwhelmed when I pause and I think about how far we've come, how much distance we've covered, and how small of a distance we have yet to cover to get to the finish line, how close we really are. The hard work's done. Well, maybe not done completely, but the really hard stuff, getting this to go from absolutely nothing to, we're on the map. That was really hard. Now we're in what I call the grind. We're what, 18% of the way towards the goal. What do we decide? 18.28% of the way to the goal. And so I want to stop real quick and just reflect on the follow through in those three key areas. And I want to show you guys, maybe you're brand new, maybe this is your first call. I want to show you guys what we've done so far. Because again, sometimes it's easy to get lost when you're in the forest for the trees. And so if we step back for a moment, we look at the big picture, we say, wow, we've come so far. And so I want to review a couple things real quick, just show you a couple things that I think are kind of cool. And hopefully you can see it like I see it. Let me find my directory here of images. Where did my images go? Maybe they're here. I don't know. Downloads. I don't know. They're somewhere. Let's sort this by date. Mine. Let's talk about the mine real quick. I don't know if you can see my screen here, but hopefully this is the spreadsheet that I use to manage all the mining equipment that we've purchased. You can see it going all the way back. We don't have the L3s on this sheet, but this takes you all the way back to June 2024 when we discovered immersion cooling and started buying these L7s, which were the best you could get at the time. We bought a couple of them. It's all the money we had back then. We paid top dollar for it. But we picked up a couple of those. And then the L9s came out. And we started picking up the newest and latest and greatest technology. And this now shows you how many L7s we bought, how many L9s, how many DG1s, and how many mini Doge 3s. And if you go to the website and you take a look at the total hash power that we've sold 18,280,000 mega hash so far. If you plug that number up here in J1 and you add up all the hash power that we've purchased so far, you can see that we're 4.263 million mega hash over purchased today on hash power. And if you want to know why, it's because we've had a lot of weird rumblings in the last couple of weeks about tariffs. And so I looked at our capital and I looked at what, kind of uncertainty was out there. And I said, hey, let's try to get ahead of this. And we placed a couple of gigantic orders for mining equipment. We buy it from Bitmars and from Fog Hashing. Some of you have even reached out to these guys in the past to confirm if we're actually really buying this stuff, which is okay. But as of this moment right now, we're 4.263 million over purchased on hash power. What did we pay for these miners before? We paid $53.45 in our latest order. So if we say we are 4,263,000 mega hash over purchase and the machines run at 16,500 mega hash, we've purchased 258 L9s more than is required to satisfy everything that we've sold or given away through the reward program so far. At a cost of $5,345, we've spent $1.38 million more than is required at this moment, just at this moment right now, on buying mining hash power. So we look at those three things. Number one, we're going to build the mine. We have to build the mine. Big mine, big value. So how much mining have we built? Remember, step one is buying the equipment. Step two is paying it for it. Step three is getting it. So we're tracking all of these deliveries. We've got two more that are still inbound right now, but there's our payment receipt. And I'm really pleased because last weekend, or maybe 2 weekends ago, I had an opportunity to finally update the proof section on the website to show you that all of our mining acquisition for hardware for the ASICs is now up to date in this use of funds. And so let me see if I can find where these pictures went. Because I found where those pictures went. Let's take a look real quick, right? Because again, you guys are maybe new, don't know what's going on. Let's take a look. I asked the guys over at the warehouse today to snap a couple of pictures for me. Here is our 4,000 square feet of space in Mansfield, jammed with ASICs. Again, if we zoom in here, you'll see that these are all Bitmain L9 boxes. And Here's a top-down view of the McKinney warehouse, full to the brim of ASICs there. Another view here. All of these are waiting to be prepped and dropped into one of these things. We've got 4 of these now. Well, technically 3. This is Victoria, where our first immersion cooling container is now installed and powered. That was a big thing, waiting for that power to get installed. We've got one of these. You can see it here on the left side of the screen. This is the inside version of the BC1. So we've purchased 3 full-size shipping containers. We've received all 3 of them. The first one is installed in Victoria. The second 2 are heading to Conroe, Texas. They're just finishing up the site prep now so we can drop off those. And the 4th one, this indoor unit, is going to probably get installed in Mansfield. And when that's done, we'll have 800 ASICs running at full power in immersion cooling, but it's not enough. Now, I bought 4 more of these. This is the latest and greatest. Bitmain just came out with their L9 Hydro, they call it. Just the same technology that they use for their fancy pants Bitcoin miners. They finally added into their Litecoin miners, the ones that do the script mining. Oh my gosh, was I not showing that screen? Oh, I was. Okay. And so the newest technology for the script miners, which is what we use with TexitCoin, is now the L9 Hydro. So we had bought the next 4 shipping containers to hold the next 800 miners for the new technology. But as you already saw on the bottom of our spreadsheet from a moment ago, we've got now 1,281 ASICs that are set up for immersion cooling. And so if we say, okay, well, we've got, 1281 and our immersion cooling can hold 800 in those 4 containers, we've got 481. All right, well, if I buy 4 more of those, then I can buy, you said 481 minus 800. So we can buy another 319 standard version L9s before we max out the next 4 shipping containers. So I bought 4 more. So now we've got 4 more of these style units on order as of today, right now. And they're scheduled to ship in about a week. So that's really great. So remember, guys, this is job number 1. We've also got 50 of these on order. These are what they call the C1. They manufacture them just specifically for us. We want to put immersion cooling inside of like Chamber of Commerce offices and, city community centers and libraries of towns that are running our community currency so that the people of that town know where their data is being processed. They can point to a little C1 that's in City Hall and say, look, that's the machine that's, keeping track of our money. So that's job number 1. Job number 1 is to build the mine. And we're off to an incredible start. All of that hash power is not yet installed, but we've got great people now. We've been through 3 teams so far. We're on team number 4, and we're doing a great job with finally getting all that stuff installed. Let's talk real quick about the community, because we talk about not just having the mine with the hash power, but also the community with the hard power. And I'm going to jump over that real quick and come back to it in a second, because I want to talk about our commissions. Remember, that's number 2. I said I'd pay out our commissions. And so if we take a look at the revenue and commission breakdown, you can see that the comp plan that I designed back when I was ready to launch this thing in April of 2024 has held up perfectly. We've made a couple small adjustments to it, but we designed it to pay out about 50%. And so if you look at last week's number, for example, 6.84 in revenue and 3.35 in commission. Let's do the math on it. 3.35 over 6.84. Commission comes out to 48.97%. The excess that we save between the 50% that we've budgeted for commission and where we actually run, because every week the number's a little bit different. Sometimes it's high, sometimes it's low. But the excess is the money that we earmark for travel, for fun, for community events, for bonuses. We just created a supernova bonus recently. And so we've got this extremely healthy comp plan. And depending on how long you've been involved, you probably remember me kind of like rubbing the hair off my forehead, wondering if our comp plan was going to hold up over time. You know, we're watching the number creep up. We've got this growing um, community that got in very early that's getting extra hash power and extra commission. And, you know, um, it's been a real blessing to see that this thing has held up so well over time. And so, again, like I said, what we do with the excess is we put that money back into community events. And so we've taken a trip now to we had our first Ranger Roundup. We brought in a bunch of leaders to Dallas earlier this year. We had an event in Las Vegas where we took quite a bit of our community. I don't remember how many people went to Vegas. Was it like 60 or 70 people went to Vegas? Then another 40, 50 people went out to Hawaii a couple weeks after that for a trip. And then we had our big trip to Thailand and Singapore just recently. And so we're doing a lot of stuff, helping people connect, get them off the couch, get them to break bread with each other once again, and, you know, develop those strong connections that are required when you're doing something as unusual and, you know, uncomfortable as crypto. And so that's where the community is really coming together. We've got more stuff planned. We've got an event coming up this weekend in Tampa. Hopefully, you're able to join us. We've got parades that are on the calendar now. We've got all kinds of stuff in store as we march into the future. But that's a really big part for us. And that comes as the byproduct of having this really healthy comp plan. You know, people call it the blue collar comp plan. We've paid out now almost $47 million in commissions. And if you go here to the chart, shows us $47.37 million in commission earned by our community. We've got this plan that works for anybody that wants to roll up their sleeves. It's really easy to bring on a couple of referrals, to get back your original money, increase your hash power. It's really easy to make an extra $1,000 a week here and there. You know, like we wanted this thing to have the ability to be impactful for your life. And if you stop and think about it for a moment, like what a big difference is an extra $1,000, you know, in a month could mean for a family that's just barely keeping their head above water. And then $1,000 a week, you know, our comp plan maxes out at $3,000 per week. And $1,000 a week for a lot of people is a salary. You know, it's big money and it's not that difficult to do. In fact, I would argue that it's probably the easiest comp plan out there in the whole entire industry of referral or affiliate or relationship or whatever marketing you want to call it. You know, and then you look at maxing out the comp plan. How many people maxed out the comp plan last week? I think it was something like 380 people maxed out the comp plan last week. That's 380 people. They're going to have a $3,000 improvement to their bottom line because of the work that we've done together. And the mind grows and the hash power grows and the cash grows. It gives us the ability to do more with promotion and marketing. And that's the next thing I promise. Those three things. I promise to promote our coin. And look, I didn't have time to like get all the pictures of our promotion stuff. Let's just go through a couple things real quick. Let's see what we can find in our group chat. Let's see, marketing and promotion. You guys have seen this stuff. You guys can go back through and you can look at the wrapped cars. You can look at the billboards. You can look at the vehicles. You can look at the advertising that's in the airports. We've got radio ads. We do events on the other side of the world. We've got 600 billboards up now across the country, all sharing the message. We got a hot air balloon. If you've scrolled back to see that, we've got so much that we've done. We spend millions of dollars every month now on advertising and promotion. And that's simply done to spread the message, to let the whole world know that we've got something exciting and we want them to know about it. We're not promoting any specific thing. We very rarely even link to the website with a QR code. Some of the airport ads made us take all those things down. But we're just doing basic brand recognition right now, and it's working. People see us all over the place. We get messages, well, got on the plane in Dallas, landed in Miami, TexitCoin ads there, TexitCoin ads here. What is this thing? And, you know, we look at that money that we put in and we say a couple of different things. First of all, there's not a single thing that we've done so far, save for that solar car challenge. Maybe Maybe. We have yet to see if that
They're
really
still fun.
converted. We got to drive the cars on the track, which was pretty cool. But there's not a single thing, except for that, that hasn't worked well for us. Whether it's a wrapped car or a billboard or a radio ad, we're getting a positive response on all of these things, whether that means somebody's finding our website and joining us, or it means that you're having an easier time talking to people in your community because they've seen us all over the place. We know that the advertising and promotion efforts are working extremely well for us. Um, but it's more than that because what we're doing is we're just trying to get the name and the brand out there so that we can get lucky. And it's really hard to build a business that's based on luck. You can't like draft up your business plan, your executive summary, and have all your calculations and formulas in there. And then somewhere like towards the bottom, it's like, oh, and by the way, we have to get lucky in order for this whole plan to work. That's not what our plan calls for. We've got a system where we're building the mine and we expect the coin value to grow. But take a look at where we are today, real quick, just as a sidebar. We've only installed a very, very, very small percentage of the mine, and our coin is already hovering up $2, $3, $4, $5 a coin. And that's pretty serious because our initial projection was that the value of the coin was going to be based on the size and success of the mine. And so I think that we're seeing a lot that's very, very early. But let me get back real quick to the promotion because we're putting all this stuff out there to increase our brand awareness and also to increase the likelihood of us getting lucky. What that means is that the right person at the right time sees us, takes note of us, and does a story about us or tells their friend about us. And then, we're mentioned on a major podcast. I don't know exactly what those things are, but I know that the advertising and promotion that we're doing are creating new opportunities for us because people know who we are and they know that we're, serious about being successful. And so these are the three things that I committed to doing that I believed we're going to prove that the plan is working and get us to where we want to go. I was going to build the mine, I was going to pay out our commissions, and I was going to promote our coin. And I think we've done all three of those things extremely well. Now, along the way, there's other work that we have to do. What else are we doing? Well, we've got, 70 people now that work over here at headquarters and on our customer service and Ranger support team. But we've built a lot of cool tech along the way as well. We've got the web wallet, wallet.texitcoin.org, works really great, and it works with our layer 2. We've built a wrapped TXC token so that we can have TexitCoin traveling on the Ethereum blockchain. Takes us to other places like Uniswap so that somebody can get TexitCoin through like a MetaMask or a Uniswap wallet. We've got multiple pools now that we've built out for redundancy. You can go to pool-aws.texitcoin.org and pool.texitcoin.org to see our two pools and see how they're running. It's really cool to see that the pool is up usually, maybe down today on this pool, but the other pool is hopefully running better. Yes, running much better. But we've built these tools. We had to build this whole thing from the ground up because remember, when you're building in your own ecosystem, you've got to build the entire ecosystem. When you're building on a network like Ethereum or Solana, you get to take advantage of all their stuff, their block explorers, the wallets that they have. We've got two different block explorers now, mempool.texitcoin.org. Am I sharing my screen? No, I'm not. Let's share my screen here. So we've got the TexitCoin mempool that gives you kind of the nitty gritty version of the blockchain, showing you how often the blocks are coming out 6 minutes ago, 8 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, 19 minutes ago, 33 minutes ago, how many transactions are in each one of those things, what the transactions are. It gives you a lot of info. This is stuff that we had to build. This is in addition to the regular Explorer, which shows you your transaction history and wallet balances as well. And so we've built a lot of really great tech along the way, and we've got much more to go as well. We're watching out for hackers. We're watching out for dark web issues. We're watching out for backdoors like we found in the early days. We're working on merge mining and cross mining and getting other coins into our mining pools so that we can earn additional revenue to pay those electric bills. So there's a lot of tech that's going on. And in addition to all of that, we're also building out liquidity. And this is a big thing that I want to take a moment and talk about because you guys are watching the market the same way that I see the market. And you remember that I published this article some time ago about the path to 16. And the path to 16 talks about this this goal of leveling up our liquidity and our price along the way. And remember, this whole thing is a theory and it's built on the idea that we are going to do something in the market and then we're going to observe. If there are more buyers than sellers, the market agrees, we back off and the currency value continues to gradually climb. Or if there are more sellers than buyers, we try to support the market with our own liquidity until balance returns. If the volatility outpaces our reserves, the currency value on the open market decreases. And you can scroll down a little bit more and you can see the first 4 of 5 tranches of liquidity. And I want to pause here for a moment because the market right now is really turbulent. And this is an interesting thing because we're seeing, and we talked last week about how we probably had about $2-3 million of buybacks at that point. That number is now more like $4-5 million of buybacks. We're doing a lot of buybacks. And we did some analysis. We don't know exactly who the sellers are. It's almost impossible to know. But we did a lot of analysis on the blockchain, the rich list, and the explorer, and also who the early adopters were. And we came to the conclusion that there are really only about 200 participants that started really, really early with us that actually have the ability to put a damper on our liquidity, put a dent in our liquidity. Obviously some of the very early guys with the very biggest wallets could clear out our entire liquidity. And some of, the other early guys have 50, 75, 100,000 coins that could certainly put a dent in our liquidity at $5 a coin. But none of those things are game ending for us. And you remember we talked last week about the fact that you got to go back almost 45,000 people now before you can get to a wallet that's actually big enough to put one of those dents in the liquidity. And so what that really means is that we're looking at the early adopters, the founders club members, the guys that were in the first couple weeks or months of this thing. And we're saying, okay, we're able now to tell the difference between who the real builders are and who the guys that are were there early on that are kind of tourists. And tourists are okay. We need those guys. As Robbie Rue calls it now, we're going whale hunting. We're trying to spear these whales and get them off the top 100 list. And what I really want to communicate is that 45,000 or so of our mining community, unless you guys got together and went for a run on TexitCoin, none of the new miners, pretty much back to number 2-300, can really affect the liquidity a whole lot. It's just the early guys that are kind of tourists that we really have to be concerned with. And there's really nothing we can do about it. We don't want to have anything to do about it. We've heard all kinds of ideas and suggestions, but really we'd like those tourists to go sooner rather than later. I'd rather buy out an early tourist, at $5 or $4 or $3 than at 10 or 20 or 6 or 10, 15 or 20. And so what you have to remember is that the people that have the lion's share of the mining hash power are the guys that did the most to help us build and grow. Those guys are builders. They're not tourists. And so we can, like I said, take a look at those first 150, 200 people, and we can see who the tourists are, and we can help them one by one get off the rocket, cash out all or part of their holdings, and send them on their way with their successful gains. And good for them. Without those guys in the early days, we wouldn't have gotten to where we are today. But we're looking at it now and we're saying, okay, if those guys want to cash out, let them pick up the phone and call us. We'll arrange for a private sale off market. But we don't want to burn through the $10 million of liquidity that we have right now just to prop the market up so that those guys can continue to lean on us and suppress the price. And so we're stepping away a little bit from the market. Remember, 3 things we promise. We're building the mine, we're promoting the coin, we're paying commissions. The other things we're testing. We've got strategies, we've got theories. We're also starting a whole program to help us monetize the excess TXC that we're buying back. So there are a lot of things that we're working on right now. But I want to, again, just draw your attention to the market because we're testing out this theory. If I could snap my fingers and take us off all the markets, I would consider doing that because I don't really pay attention to the price right now. What we're in right now is this mind building timeline. And this is the hard work. This is the work where the price might be up, price might be down. The whole market's off right now. So for TexitCoin to be off, 5.5, 10% from where it was, a couple days ago, it's not that bad. But we're stepping back now and we're seeing what the market wants to do. And as we do that, we're continuing to build. We're continuing to put more cash into our war chest. We're continuing to do the promotion and all the things that we promised that we would do. Uh, don't change for us whatsoever, whether the market's hot or the market's cold. I know that a lot of people pay attention to it, and so we're aware of it and we're watching it. But again, we've got a theory. Our theory is based on building the mine and having the coin be successful along the way. And we're trying to stockpile a marketing budget. We're trying to stockpile a liquidity budget as we go so that we put ourselves in the highest likelihood or a position to be as likely as possible once that last seat on the rocket ship is sold and we're ready to really take off and engage mainstream crypto. We haven't gone after that yet. We've got plenty of ideas how to do that. But right now, we're still in kind of early parts of phase one at 18, 19% of the way towards our goal. And so that's my quick recap. So whether you're here on your first call or you've been here for 10, 15, 20, or 83, 84 calls, I don't know. But I want to remind you about how successful our project is, how far we've come in that year and a half, just over a year and a half, following through on these promises that we made, doing a great job building this thing through thick and thin, through all the stuff we've had to work through. It's been a real great adventure, and I'm really enjoying it. I don't know about you guys. I hope you are as well. But we've come so far, and we're only a few little steps away from the finish line. I know it sounds impossible, but guys, we're kind of late here. Think about it. We got more than 45,000 miners now. If every miner brings in one new miner next month with an average of 3 seats on the rocket, which is kind of about what we've been averaging, it's another $150 million. And if those people next month do it again, it's another $600 million and we're done. The seats are full. So we're only 2 or 3 steps away at this moment right now from finishing our initial plan, finishing phase one, finishing, what we thought we would have to do in order to become $1 billion coin. And so we've come so far. We're this close to getting to the finish line. It's so close. I can taste it. I hope you guys are enjoying the journey as much as I've been enjoying the journey. If you're brand new, welcome. Buckle up, guys. Remember, this is the grind. This is the hard work now that's coming up. Continuing to do what we said we were going to do day in, day out. It requires discipline. It requires sticking to our principles, following through on the promises we made. Easy stuff as far as I'm concerned. We're going to have setbacks. We're going to have problems. We're going to have challenges. This past week, we dealt with a major security risk. What happened? We had somebody with an administrator account that got compromised. Somebody logged in, started sending out password reset emails. Those emails used to be accessible from the back end, so you could actually find the link for the password reset. You could change a password for an account right there. It happened about 400 or 500 accounts. We went through and we tracked them all down. If we had to lock you out of your account to deal with the challenge, we're very sorry and we apologize for that inconvenience. But we were able to catch the problem early because we've got a great notification system that tells people when their accounts have been accessed or changed. And so we caught it. It's going to cost us a couple thousand TXC out of pocket to make good on the people who had their wallets compromised. But this is what we deal with on a regular basis. And so we're working hard over here. I think that you guys appreciate the work that we do. And we really appreciate all the kind words. We've come a really, really long way. Some days it feels like we're walking through mud and we've got a long way to go. Other days, like I said, it feels like we're just a couple steps away from the finish line and it's right in front of us. And we just have to do a couple more smart things to get to where we want to go, fill up those seats on the rocket ship. And then remember, guys, we've already talked about the last seat on the rocket ship. We already talked about how obvious it is that you would want to be a part of a project that's got $200 million in promotion and marketing budget, $100 million in liquidity, 100 million mega hash mine. Even if it's only 2.8% of the size of the Litecoin Doge, remember, we've got more in store for phase 3. We've got a community, 45, 50, 100,000 people. We've got advertisements all over the country. We've got all this goodwill and momentum going for us. You'd want to be on that winning team that proved out that a bunch of ordinary people can do something really extraordinary. And so here we are, 17, 18, 19% of the way to the goal, a couple simple steps away from being done and being able to high five each other and say, we did it. Against all odds, nobody thought it was possible using that old tried and true referral, affiliate, network marketing type thing. And we did it based on this simple idea of just being transparent, being honest, being upfront, sharing our results real time, showing what we've done, showing our work, bringing receipts to the conversation to prove to you guys that we're doing a great job and that we've got very little for us to continue to do for us to accomplish our major objectives, build out the mine, fill up those last seats on the rocket ship, and blast off into the very top of the crypto community with phase 2 and phase 3 and phase 4. So that's what I wanted to cover tonight. I wanted to just take a real quick trip down memory lane, talk about how we got to where we are right now, show you a couple examples of how we've followed through on the promises that we've made to you, show you how very close we are to finishing, to victory, to filling up the seats on the rocket and being ready to blast off. And we've done it together. We've done it with the setbacks. We've done it with, all the different things we've dealt with along the way. I'm proud of the work. I'm enjoying the work. If it looks like I haven't gotten any older, it's because I feel younger than when I started this project a year and a half ago. And again, I'm very proud of it. I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as I am. And buckle up, because remember, guys, this is the grind. This is the hard part. If you think it's pretty easy still, that's great. And I don't expect it to get much more difficult than it is right now, but we're just going to keep working hard. Persistence is what will get us all the way over to the finish line. And that is what I wanted to talk about tonight on our call.
Love it.
How'd I do, Rob?
You did wonderful. I might not be alive tomorrow, so this is my pen. I might fall on it, I have been spamming a correction link for signups for the Dallas parade. So
Oh,
please do not email Kristen. If you have already, don't email her a second time and tell her how much you love her. But yeah, we've got the sign up there, and that's my bad. I missed that on Telegram earlier. I'm going off the email she sent me. So
tarred and
Robbie Roo
feathered.
may not be alive tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't want to face the wrath of Kristen ever. And Samantha. She's got Samantha in her office now. Oof.
Yeah, I
Scrolling
told
back and
Samantha
looking
to
at some of the
protect me.
comments. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate the kind words. I don't have time to go through and read them all, but hopefully it's all nice stuff you're saying. I'm going to jump into Q&A. Hopefully you guys have had an opportunity to answer some of the questions that have been popping up since we got started.
Yes, sir.
But
Hey,
here we go.
Bobby, real quick. I just want to say that was a great description, man, of, the whole project
T-Bone.
overview. Hey, buddy. And, sometimes, like you say, it is hardest to see the forest through the tree that's in front of you, right? So when
Yeah.
we start just thinking about price, that's what is on everybody's mind. But if we do the mission, which is building the mine, the price is going to happen, right? But we got to focus on the mission, which is building the mine. We continue to do that. We continue to fill the seats. The price will get there. It's all about phase 1, which is building the mine. It's a great job.
And remember, I think that I've been getting kind of a little overconfident with supporting the price in the market. And, what was interesting when we were at our last level at $3.79, like we weren't involved in the market at all. The market was bopping around $4, $4.50 without any involvement whatsoever from us. So when we push it up, it was like, okay, we're going to see a lot of buybacks. But I'm guessing maybe a lot of people that got in early had $5 as their magic number. If you've got 500,000 coins or 200,000 coins, which, some of these guys in the first 100 got, $5, you're a millionaire. And when you're looking at that wallet balance and it's saying $1 million, and all you have to do is click on the button and you're now a millionaire, it's a hard button to resist.
Yeah.
So you're watching it creep up 200, 250, 400,000. I'm almost there. Boom, I'm a millionaire. Why not cash out? And so, what we were talking about in your office earlier is that we've got all these ideas and programs and systems and stuff to build the mine. That's our project. That's our focus. So all of our attention has been dedicated to filling the seats on the rocket. And that's what our work is, right? That because as we fill the seats, the mine grows. Even as you guys are helping fill the seats, the mine grows. You get your 1-2 free bonus, the mine grows. You get your 3 left, your 3 right, you take your commission and hash power, the mine grows. So we're in this mine building strategy. So we really haven't sat down yet to figure out how to sell TXC. That hasn't been like a priority for us. Okay, well then all of a sudden we do $4 or $5 million of TXC buybacks. Whew, we got a lot of TXC now. Well, what do we do to get rid of this TXC? Well, hold on a second here. Who said we need to get rid of it? If we start liquidating it, if we start doing promotions, to existing miners, which is a great idea, we devalue our currency. And I would much rather have TXC than dollars. I mean, we talked for a long time. Where do we put our dollars to keep them safe? Put them in TexitCoin. Whoa, okay, hold on. That's a risky endeavor. But remember, we're mining TexitCoin here, and we want to sell it over there so that we can bring that cash home. I know where there's trillions of dollars. I've seen it. You were in Singapore. You remember what it looks like in Singapore?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Opulence. It's wealth like no one's ever seen before. You ever see that movie Crazy Rich Asians? It's wild. They've got lots and lots of money over there. We've been sending it over there. What, 93% of everything you buy on the shelf at Walmart comes from China? That's where the money is. I know where the money is. So I'd rather export it over there and bring the dollars home. And then you can take the dollars and you can turn it into a new car, or you can pay off your mortgage, or you can put on the addition, or you can, go fishing and just take the day off. You can just have a better day. I don't know how you define wealth, but I know where the wealth is. I'm going to bring it here so that we can put it in our pockets too. And while we're all getting rich, I'll make sure that we've got honest money so that the world's a better place for the kids and our grandkids. Like that's the whole idea. So we're doing all these buybacks, and we've never really sat down and focused on how to monetize the TXC if we're buying back too much of it. So we'll start thinking about that now as we start looking at wrapping up phase 1 and moving into phase 2 and phase 3. But again, that's really where this, liquidity question comes from. And I'd rather see the market price drop a little bit, but the market get more involved than us sitting there with this, solid floor that's preventing people from buying the dip if they want to buy the dip, or just see what the market really wants to do with the price of TexitCoin today. Remember, we're way ahead of schedule. We're way ahead of schedule, even just for the
That's
path
what
to
I was going to
16.
point out too. Yeah, we are. If you look at the chart in the path to 16, we weren't supposed to be to 529 till the end of November, so we're ahead of schedule, guys.
Right.
So I just noticed I don't have a cool background like you guys, so I'm going to go. I'm going to get off here.
You're a cool dude. So
Well, thanks for the contribution, man. Always good to talk to you. So the price is always going to be a sensitive issue. A lot of that's because people are looking at the ROI and they're saying, well, I'm getting half a TexitCoin per day, and that's about $5. It's about $2.50 a day. And so remember, we're building the mine right now. We've got a lot of work to do to build the mine. We've got a lot of work to do to get the mining equipment that we've already bought and paid for installed. And so we're not really at the point yet where our basic premise, the basic strategy of building the mine and having a valuable coin is taking over. So we're kind of supporting this thing. And we've hit this point now where we've got a lot of buybacks. That's great. Let's get the tourists off the rocket ship in whole or in part, and let's make way for everybody else that wants to jump in. So that's where we are today. Let's jump into the Q&A and see how far we can get with an hour. We got an hour. Could the system automatically update the points a couple times a day? It's hard to plan and be strategic when the points don't update sometimes for days. Yeah, that's something that the enrollment team is struggling with. I don't know if there's ever going to get to a point where the points computate automatically and instantaneously. Every time we think that we're out of the woods, we can start building new features into the system, we get hit with some sort of curveball like we're dealing with right now. And so rest assured that we at least try to update the points once a day. Didn't we tell McKaylin that she's not supposed to leave the office until Placement's done and points are calculated? I don't know. It's on the list. Jordan wants to know if we can explain the halving process and how it works with coins and stuff going down the line. Also explain the 135 years of mining forecast. What's magical about 135 years? Well, I can't really explain the halving and process in great detail, but what I can tell you is that what you do is you pick a number. You say, I want my network to produce 353 million coins, and I want that to happen over 137 years. And I don't know if you get there with the chicken or the egg, but the point is we have a block reward and a block time. The block time is about 3-4 minutes. The block reward's 254 coins. So when you multiply those things together, you get a supply of 353 million coins that happens over 137 years. We're about 2 years into it so far. And so we've got quite a while left on the mining. But what happens is about every 6 years, the mining reward gets cut in half. And what that does is it creates this anti-inflationary monetary system. This was part of the magic of Bitcoin. And so Litecoin replicated that, just multiplied it by 4. And then we've replicated the Litecoin code, changed it to suit our own particular desires. And that's how it works. So that's the quick version of halving. But again, it's designed to make it more difficult and less lucrative for the coins to be made as time goes by. Someone asks, what is the burn rate? We don't have a burn rate. Burn rate is usually for like meme coins and tokens. We don't have a burn rate because we didn't make all the coins out of thin air. A burn rate is like, hey, I cooked up 1 trillion coins. Okay, well, how many did you sell? Well, like 1 million of them. So you're telling me you have 999 billion coins left over? Yeah. What are you going to do with them? Well, I'm going to destroy some of them every couple of days, weeks, months, and that way our coin will continue to go up in value because I'm destroying coins. Mining is the opposite of kind of how that process works. Are you answering things over there? If you've already answered something, should I not answer like Wendy's question?
Yeah, I'm hitting some of these.
Okay. Well, I will make it go away. Can you please add on our dashboard where we are on the international seats sold? I think Bobby said that there are 10%. Yeah. So one of the things to consider about the international seats, first of all, you can do the math on it pretty quickly just by looking at miners by country. So we got Texas and United States for 27, 4, and 12. So call it like, 39,000 of the 45,000, 39 over 45. So like 86% is what we would call US and Texas. Now, the first couple thousand fall into the maybe an other or an unknown category because we weren't tracking addresses back in the beginning. So we got to go through and clean up probably about 1,000 addresses. But the big question that we really have yet to answer is whether or not we want to allow those 100,000 seats to be sold internationally in advance of the other 90% being sold domestically. What that means is like, well, what if it runs in lower something Vania? Should we allow that or should we keep it in line with 10%? So if we've done, 40,000 in the US, should we only do 4,000 internationally? And just briefly looking at that, it looks like that may not, in fact, even be the case today. I'll have to take another look at that and see where we're at on the international. But I'd like to let the international run. Right now the goal is to build a rocket. We can cap the seats internationally now, or we can cap them later. Did I say cash them or cap them? I mean to say cap them. So hopefully that answers your question. But I have to update some addresses to really figure it out. What is the liquidity plan to get us to 25 million for the next potential nudge? Example, adding more to the current pools or find new pools. Guys, that's an interesting question because the markets are really struggling right now. Let's take a quick look at our liquidity. Because, look, we came up with a theory of putting some Bitcoin into our liquidity. There's our USDC. All 1 million of it still snug as a bug in a rug. Bitcoin, if you remember, I topped that up from like 8.8 to 10 coins. So I added like $110,000 or more on top of that. And it is now almost exactly at $1 million. So Bitcoin's struggling, right? Ethereum is doing way worse. I added more Ethereum as well. And our Ethereum is down it's probably down about 30% because we added quite a bit more. You can see the Ethereum that we added a little while ago. But man, 800,000. So our Ethereum's off at least 20%. Let's take a look at our gold. Remember, we've got 16 kilos of gold there. We were taking a look at the price of gold. Gold's 39.43 times 32.15 grams per troy ounce times 16. We're still over our 2 million in gold. So our gold is down a little bit, but holding up. And so I don't really know. Guys, really the question is like, what's the crystal ball say? What is the safest place to keep wealth as we move forward? Is it crypto? Is it gold and silver? Is it property? Is it something else? Is it cash? That's the $1 zillion question, $100 million question. My inclination, if you need a straight answer to the question, is probably more property. Remember, we're borrowing that from the Tether playbook. And so I like that one the best. Anything that's bolted down to the ground, that's not sitting in a safe somewhere or in a bank safe deposit box, is going to give us the highest likelihood of retention. As far as value is concerned, yeah, property is going to fluctuate in value as well. But as far as keeping large amounts of wealth, the safest over time, I really got the good Jimmy Neutron today with the hair. I think that property is going to be the best way to go. Erica says she would really appreciate if the dev team can add a section of the TXC hot wallet address in the commission section. Add a TXC commission? It'd be really great if we could keep our daily rewards going to our cold wallet while the TXC commissions can be sent to our hot wallet. Yeah, that's a great idea. I like that one. Can we make a note of that? Are you making notes or am I making notes?
I can make notes.
So we need commission and mining for TXC wallets. Good idea, Erica. Thanks. How are your real estate investments coming? Anonymous attendee, thank you. Guys, I still owe you receipts on that stuff. You'll get them soon, rest assured. I'll give you addresses. That's easy, but copies of deeds are coming. For the 27 pack, do you automatically receive 3K commission? 1, 2 free times 2? No, you don't, because your sponsor gets, whoever sponsors you, well, if you're the sponsor, you get the 1, 2 free, because the builder plan has those 3 tracking centers. For the 27 pack, do you automatically receive 3K commission? I'm not really sure who you mean by you, but if you're talking about you, the sponsor, or you, the person that bought the 27 pack, the answer is no. If it's you, the person that bought it, because you don't have any commission potential to qualify those points. Anonymous attendee says, I didn't receive an email on my team. Many wallet address were changed. Are we going to go over the security breach that happened? Bench that happened. Yeah. So look, we're reverting all the addresses back to what they were a week ago, which is really annoying because we had a lot of people joining last week that just got brand new addresses. Oh, guys, to add insult to injury, this past Monday, we also rolled out a brand new enrollment welcome kit process. So we're no longer assigning coin IDs to new accounts. So we're kind of in up to our ears with this stuff this week. I don't know exactly what to tell you in terms of like when it'll all work perfectly again. I can just tell you that it's what we do all day, every day, dealing with this stuff. So rest assured that we will make all that stuff right. Oh, also rest assured that we're taking it very careful with this week's commissions. So we don't want to pay out any commissions until we've verified and re-verified all of this stuff. So we're still going to do commissions tomorrow on time, but keep an eye on your email, because if your commission gets suspended because your address was changed, you can get back to us right away, verify that, and we'll still get your commission out tomorrow. Ben says, hi, Bobby. Thank you for this great opportunity. Really enjoy the ride. Have a suggestion. What do you think about if we put the price of TXC cheaper in the back office? We can't do that because you could take your TXC from the back office and you can dump it right back to us on the open market. So we have to watch out for that. Can we stop posting all this information on YouTube where everyone can see all this information? I feel like we share too much sensitive information and everything is out there. Look, we could try to make a rule, but rules were made to be broken. Jane says, curious what is needed for the mines to consistently produce 95,000. Jane, that's a really great question. So I'm a little kind of flabbergasted. I thought that throwing all this extra mining power would normalize the mine output. And I don't know if you saw the message from the developer, but we've got kind of a new issue that's developing. And I'll share my screen with you real quick and show you the pools. But let's suppose for a second that this is accurate and the mine is down, and it probably is accurate, and we should send a message to Sherwin to see if he can figure out why the mine is down. But what happens is, as we put these mine sites online, it feels really good. It looks really good. We have to do it. But when it goes down, we affect the total pool hash rate. And our network right now is set up to redefine difficulty every 3 blocks. Bitcoin, on the other hand, redefines difficulty every 2,000 blocks. So what happens is our network spikes and the difficulty jumps, and then our network drops. And even you can even see it like on, the other pool. Let's suppose the other pool is running properly. Here's our other pool. If you change this to hour, look at this, jump. We're all the way down to 360 and we're all the way up to 420, 360, 420. So these are gigantic jumps and drops in terms of mining hash power, which affects mining difficulty. So here's what's exactly happening. Hash power jumps, the mine goes, oh, okay, we're going to increase the difficulty. Then the mining drops and no new blocks are made. So we see these chunks where like a block doesn't come out for 45 minutes, and then 4 or 5 blocks come out, and then a block doesn't come out for 45 minutes, and then 4 or 5 new blocks come out. And so we've got this really lumpy mining process right now. We're hopeful that as we continue to add more mines online, even if one pool is dropping and spiking, it's not going to be as dramatic of an effect on the rest of the network. But here's number 2, and this is really the one that we're hoping is going to fix what we're dealing with right now. We are going to change the block difficulty or the mining difficulty recalculation to much, much, much more than every 3 blocks. And so if we did every 1,000 blocks, that would give us the ability to really average the mining hash power over a much longer period of time, so we don't see these giant drops and spikes in block time. Hopefully that answers your question. And it was a good question. Didn't receive any emails across 3 accounts. Not a question, Rochelle. Reach out to support, pretty please. Check your addresses. I have a team of over 300 people that are international. I've been trying to reach out to support for several months to move their coins from cold storage to their hot wallet. Since they are international, Bobby has stated many times that no one will be receiving their coins. But my team abroad, blah, 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 blah. So look, we've got all the international coins. We just have to get them out to you guys. I don't know if we're going to like send somebody out across the world with a backpack, or we're going to start shipping them out. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's a major crisis. Fortunately, the bleeding has stopped, but it doesn't deal with any of the ones that are still sitting here. All right, so let's put international coin crisis on the priority list. I don't have a good answer for you right now, Raphael. It's a good problem. It's a good question. We'll get through it. Did CoinMarketCap say they would look beyond the top wallets if we were to be listed on more exchanges? Yeah, we're gonna redo CoinMarketCap once we get the other 4 exchanges. We're gonna redo the CoinMarketCap inquiry for the verified listing once we get on these other exchanges. The Bitcoin boy says, that's very good of him showing us the desktop app, but support one, let us pay our coins into it. We have to download the Texas app. No idea what any of that means, and it didn't sound like a question. Andrea says, if our commission USDC address was changed due to the incident over the weekend, we have sent in the proper stuff to show we changed it to the right wallet address and sent the ticket in. Will our commission be suspended this week? It probably will. It probably will. I'm going to pay commissions early tomorrow, and then that way you'll have all day to keep an eye out for that suspension email. If you have the same address that you had last week, it'll go through. If your address is different from if you got commission last week and your address is the same, it'll go right through. That's what we are programming right now. So if your address has changed from last week, it will get suspended. Keep an eye on your email. We'll try to do it early in the day. And then that way you can still get paid tomorrow. I received the reset password email and reset it. Was that not good? No, that's exactly what you have to do. Hey, I'm a TexitCoin miner. Two-part question. Are smart contracts supported? No, not yet. If not, what's the roadmap? Well, we just finished our layer 2 and all this contracting stuff is going to be sometime in the future. Is there an announcement on any retroactive promotion for October? No, we're not going to do promotions for a while. Oh, and remember, guys, we have less than 5,000 new miners before we go into the next version of the comp plan, which eliminates BOGO from your commission option. Remember, right now you can take USDC, you can take TexitCoin, or you can take hash power. If you take hash power as your commission, you get 2 for 1. If you've got qualified commission and you take that as hash power, you get 2 for 1. That will not be available to miner 50001 and beyond. So if you got people that are on the fence and they're thinking about helping us build and they're going to earn commission, now's the time to get them in. It's a big benefit. You talk about needing to find that one person to get lucky. That's who you are to many of us. We appreciate that. That's very kind, Colton. Thank you. Any update on Tangent wallets for TXC? No, not yet. And I also don't have any update yet on the Ledger one. Did I tell everybody about Ledger yet? I hope not. I have a question. Where did that question go? Did you answer that question? I did not receive an email about the security issue either. I just checked all my emails and spam. Nothing there. You should be fine then. Is it true that if we put TXC on our vehicle license plate, we get in a miner for free? Yes, you get 1 seat with a TXC license plate. Get it done. Send a picture. The single basic setups Bobby talked about putting in libraries. The single basic setups Bobby talked about putting in libraries. Is it only open to those locations or is it open? No, look, we had Fog Hashing develop the C1 immersion cooling tank just for us because we like the idea of putting an ASIC, in a place that's publicly accessible and something that people can see and show off. I'll sell you one if you want it, but it's one of a kind. Daniel says, can Texit change the way the placement tree, instead of your placement tree growing from the top down, I think it should grow from the bottom up. People get turned off once I say, see, when people sign up below you, you get points that channel up. I believe the tree should expand up and all the points channel down to your main center.
Devs would die.
I don't know. Look, a lot of people like it exactly the way it is. Maybe there's another view that could happen someday, but for now, I think we're good. Anyway, you can help us international miners because we can't take part in anything. Why not? On the dashboard, when it says income, is that the income for Texas or as a whole? 35 million. Just curious, would love to clarify. I'm not sure what you're looking at here. Let's take a quick look. Do you see a 35 million somewhere? The total is 116 million. I'm not sure where you're seeing it. Oh, you're talking about this here, the 31.99. Yeah, you got to think of that income as retained earnings because what we are not showing right now is like our promotion budget that's stockpiled and hasn't been spent, liquidity that has yet to get added to the liquidity pool. There's a lot of things we have yet to proof, but that would be from this total number, if that answers your question, which I don't think it does, but I tried. What else is here in the Q&A? Are we almost done? Privacy is utmost importance. Please check out privacyacademy.com and get on their mailing list. A webinar is coming very soon teaching us how to keep our crypto private. Okay. Are you on the phone talking with the 200 to 300 founders who could sync the price? No. Remember, like I would love for those 200 to 300 founders who could sync the price and help them get exactly what they want. If they want to cash out now, I want them to have it. I would just rather have them do it as limit sale orders or just have us put them on a list of people that we can, clear out when we have buyers come along, which happens all the time. But when we dangle liquidity out there in the market, somebody's looking at their wallet, they're looking at the sell button and they go, yeah, I'll take the $1 million. Thank you. Bobby, willing to receive possible investment ideas, possibilities for TXC. These would be real estate, media companies, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, look, we're trying to keep the liquidity, the store of value ideas as simple as possible. Gold, silver, property, crypto. That's about all we're looking at right now. We've got enough property at the moment to get us through the next tranche. But I think we're okay for right now. Mike wants to know when the build out will be completed. Well, once number one is done and we learned all the hard lessons that we need to learn, I think that numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, and 35 will go a lot faster. I'd like to have it all done inside of a year, which obviously is going to be a challenge, with getting the equipment here and all that stuff, but we don't want it to drag on much longer than that. So let's say that a year is like the goal. If we sell it all in the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months, I think that it's possible to get it done inside of a year. What happened if you don't have cash potential, but you have 9 points on the left and the right? They go away. They flush at the end of the week. What is our emergency backup power? We don't have emergency backup power. I get to focus on building the mine, yet most of our ads focus on TXC price. We can't have it both ways. Yes, you're right. But the price creates interest, and interest creates inquiry, and hopefully leads them to somebody that can tell them about our project and show them that we see a connection between building the mine and supporting the price. How many seats have been sold or earned? That's an easy question, Amanda. Just take a look at the home page dashboard, and you'll see that the sold hash power is 18.28 terahash. Add a bunch of zeros on the end of that, and you can call it mega hash. So just think 18.28% at the moment. Do 31 grams per troy ounce. Yeah, sorry, I said that wrong. It's 32.15 troy ounce per kilo. You're right, and thanks for pointing that out. Bobby, great content. Are you ready to look at professional custom-built app for miners to use for marketing to events or possibilities? I can introduce you. Look, we want more apps, but right now we need our layer 2 app done. Jobby and Tesla stock. I don't know what that is. I really love what you're doing. Work in commercial insurance. Bobby, liquidity. What if the real estate bolt to the ground was actual gold producing daily gold? Guys, I don't have much going on right now in the metals world. If I dove back into that, I'd be more interested in gold producing mines and stuff. So if I have somebody that wants to join us, do I need to do something different? No, just tell them to go over to minetxc.com, fill the form on the bottom. If we have coins in hand, can we still assign a coin to a new miner? Yes, that will immediately activate without the new process. That's right. They skip over the you don't have a coin ID process. Did you say that an email was sent to sign up someone volunteer at the parade? No. There's a link in the chat group. Find the link, pretty please. It's exciting. We're on Pionex. I've been buying TXC on Pionex. Thanks, Roy. Question is it better for the mission for me to buy the coin in the back office or on Pionex? Any place you want to pick up the coin works well for us. Wherever you get the best deal. Who is our developers? We've got a lot of them, and they're kind of anonymous. They're kind of private. Bodan is the guy that I've been working with since 2017 when we built out the cold storage coin stuff. We've got a couple new guys. Vit and Siri are the ones that are really senior blockchain programmers and also the backend programmer for payout. Can you explain new miner enrollment process and why the coin ID is not assigned to the account? Well, that's easy. The coin ID is not assigned to the account because we're 6 weeks behind right now. And so every time we assign a coin ID, shipping and fulfillment has to find that coin, look up who the miner is, go through manually create their shipping label, put that coin in the mail, UPS, and then cross their fingers and hope that it gets there. It's a wildly complicated process. So what we're doing now is we're eliminating the initial assignment of the coin ID. We're sending out a generic welcome kit with a coin in it, and then you go through and you assign that coin that's in your welcome kit to your account, and whatever rewards you've accumulated get dumped to that coin. Hi, Byron. Oh, that was you. There you go. Amy says, when will ribbon cutting be for the new mine? There are 3 things we have left to do for Victoria. We have to install our security gate, security cameras, and we have to test the pumps. Well, the pumps are already tested, but we want to fill the tanks and just test the flow. Once those 3 things are done, it's on. We're going to drop a couple ASICs in the tank. As soon as we're sure that it is working and not going to explode, we will schedule a date to invite you out and go live. You can come and pick up all the Canadian coins at that time. Robbie Rue, I don't mind jumping on a plane coming over to Florida from the UK. We're in Texas. collecting all of them. Yeah. If you're in a country that has yet to get all of your coins, let us know. We'd love to work out a trip. Why is token buy limited on Pinex to 50 per transaction? I don't know. They put some sort of thing on there as a temporary limitation. How is TexitCoin decentralized when all mining is done in one country and operated by one company instead of several places? We've talked about that a lot. You got to understand that there's a big difference between decentralized and permissioned. It's decentralized because we're sending out miners all over the state, ASICs. But it is a permission blockchain, which means one guy, that's me, has got his finger on the trigger. Why are we making the comp plan less appealing as more people come on board if we need networkers to help us get to the finish line? Well, I don't know if we could say that it's less appealing. We're not changing the 3 left, 3 right, $1,000 thing. That was the comp plan. The comp plan was 2 things: 1, 2 free, and it was 3 left, 3 right, $1,000. So for the people who wanted to acquire hash power, they were working on their 1, 2 frees. For the people that wanted to acquire cash, they were working on their points. Those 2 things run in parallel, and you get both of them at the same time. Now, somewhere along the way, early on, we said, hey, instead of taking cash for your commission, why don't you take additional hash power? It's the only way that you can earn hash power in excess of the 9 that we cap you at. Okay, that means the people that are earning hash power or getting more hash power are earning it. We like that. I think somewhere early on, to help with cash flow, I offered the 2 for 1, what we call the BOGO. So we're eliminating the BOGO for miners at 50,001. We're not changing the comp plan in any kind of fundamental way. We're just taking away that advantage. So yeah, it is a change, and it's not for the better, it's for the worse. But what you got to remember is that anybody that joins at 50,001 doesn't really know what that was in the first place. Like, we've changed it a couple times, and everyone always thinks it's dead, and then it goes running right along just fine. Excuse me. Time for some water. Okay, can we get some car decals as an option for swag? Look, you've got access to the brand kit in our help desk. You can print out anything you want, and you're encouraged to do so. I'm in, as so do I put TXC coin, or do I do Texit, or does just TXC work if the others are taken? Oh, I don't know. You got to find something that's good for your license plate. Can't be like Timmy and expect to get that free mining seat. If you're not sure, then reach out to Kristen, send her an email, and she will guide you. With 95,000 TXC entering the circulating supply each day, how's the price holding plus or minus 10%? That's actually a really good point. You got to remember that our network's growing by 95,000 coins a day. It's $500,000 a day. So there is lots of market activity for our coin. It's not dead. It's not nothing. And it's significant enough that the price is holding steady. So that's good. You would think that the price would drop 10%, every day, or not 10%, but 1%, a percent, some amount. But you also have to remember that about 2/3 of all the coins that are produced every day go into cold storage. So only about 1/3 of the coins actually end up being marketable. You can get the coins out of cold storage, but most people are putting them onto cold storage. Amy says, hi, Bobby. I set up a hot wallet on the TXC app to have 25% going into that. My address doesn't match up from app to back office. No, you got to remember that on the hot wallet app, your address changes every time you get a new transaction. So if you go into your hot wallet, you're always going to see a different address after you got a previous transaction. So as long as you're getting it, it's fine. You can update it anytime you like to whatever the current one is. But remember, once you get a transaction into the hot wallet, your address is going to change. That's by design. That's for privacy. That's why it's impossible to know exactly who the sellers are. But that is why it happens, for privacy, and you can update it. But again, as long as you're getting the payout that you expect, then you're good to go. Are you done trying to keep the price up on DexTrade? Kinda. I'm done with whoever's doing this heavy duty selling, and it's more than one person, draining all of the liquidity out of DexTrade. If they want to keep selling, they got to pick up the phone and call me, because we're not going to battle them on DexTrade. That doesn't mean they can't sell there. It just means that if they want to sell there, they're going to push the price down. But because we have so many other markets now, it means that the DexTrade price is becoming a smaller percentage. It is kind of cool, though, to see that some of our other markets are holding steady, and they've got volume there that's not directly related to our floor. So So yeah, I'm going to step back from Dex Trade and see what happens. Can we add an option for a miner when adding a miner from the back office to choose to make another person in their tree the sponsor of who they are adding? Rangers have that ability. Not everybody else does. I will see if the devs can give you the ability to do that for anyone that you've sponsored. Sponsor can change sponsor for sponsored. uh, I don't know if that makes any sense. It doesn't. Yeah. Oh, we got a lot of new Rangers coming up as well. Starting a new class or two of Rangers. Have we said that out loud yet? What up, Gary? Proven oil and gas operation? Maybe. Maybe. Investments in power systems could be good use of funds. Maybe. Really, guys, we're heading into some volatile times here. So caution is a top priority. Extra acres not being used. Whole mining setup, maybe. Official TexitCoin YouTube channel. I don't know if we have one. Share this with my employee. They sign up. What is the best approach to sign them up? 80 plus just in Texas, and it is smart to sign them all up. Yes. Introduce it to them. Encourage them to do their own due diligence and make smart, educated decisions on where to put their hard-earned cash. Isaac says, as a liquidity, can we have stablecoin for the next liquidity? We can even lend it to places like Ave. I'm not doing the lending thing. USDT, USDC, maybe Tether Gold is a good stablecoin option as well. But again, guys, we just have to be careful. If someone buys more hash power each month and they hit 5, will they get the 6 for free? No, I don't think so. I think they got to buy it one time. Who do I contact to shock up for the Xmas parade? Shock up. Sign up. We probably what's will be the utility sustained price after mining seats are filled if smart contracts are not supported. First of all, who said smart contracts are not supported? Second of all, don't you know anything about phase 2? Third, look, guys, we got a $200 million budget when the seats are full to go out and promote this thing to the crypto community. So we got a lot of firepower and a lot of things to do, a lot of utility once the seats are full. When I transfer to DexTrade from my TexitCoin wallet, there's usually no record to show that there is a transfer, only the daily coining in it. I'm not sure what you mean there. Jeffrey says, hey, fam, hope you are well. Thank you so much for playing our song in Thailand. This is the best project in crypto space that truly helps change lives. Jeffrey, which song are you talking about? You're not talking about my favorite song, are you? Because I'm still trying to figure out who made my favorite song. If I offered my property for a mine placement spot, will there be compensation? There would be, but we've got a pretty specific list of things that you made it? Jeffrey made it? Really? Jeffrey, send me a message on Telegram, bro. I want to get you paid. We're looking at the ERCOT grid, not just who's got available property, but we're looking at the grid to figure out where the grid needs us, where the grid gives us the greatest amount of redundancy. And so that's really question number one. So if you have a property and you're in a place in the ERCOT grid that we actually really want to have a mine set up, then we need to talk. Jeffrey, man, I didn't know. Mark says, no. Robert says, makes perfect sense on sponsor changes sponsor. Yeah, I'm going to try to figure that out. Jeffrey, send me a message. That's my guy. Yeah. Guys, appreciate it. Love that. Love it. Great lyrics. The whole question all along was whether or not it was AI. Was it? Swappy says, any plans for the referral program after the mine is built? Will there be more opportunity in other phases? I was a scapegoat and drew the short straw to ask. First of all, send a big hug and a sloppy kiss from me to your girl, JK, LOL. It's an inside joke. But, well, look, the easy answer to your question is, remember, there's phase 3, number 1. And then phase 2 is, look, guys, we're focused on building, the core components of the ecosystems, the wallets, the explorers, the blockchain, the mine. And we're also building the layer 2 with the community currencies. There's going to be a zillion opportunities for you guys to create things on top of that. Communicate those ideas with our community and ask them to join you. So I can't do it all. I can do the basic stuff, which is going to lay the foundation for you guys to do a lot of other great things as well. Is the back office discount applicable when buying additional hash power to a tracking center? I don't think it is for you. I think that's only a discount when you're signing somebody new up. David, I'm not sure. You have to get that with the mining team. I don't know exactly who that is yet. Let me get through the first 4 installs first. Bowing down. How will we have 200 million to promote the coin later if we were spending 2 to 3 million a month now? I dare say magic, but I don't consider anything that we're spending the money on now to be coming out of our budget that we'll have later. That's part of the reason why we're discontinuing BOGO. Like if you guys do the math on our total money in and revenue per seat, right? So let's consider for a moment that we've sold 180,280 seats, right? So let's take the 116 million 116,150,000 divided by the 18,280,000 seats. Sorry, the 18,200, no, the 182,000 seats. You get a revenue per seat of 635. Okay. When I've originally made the video, we talk about the better part of $1 billion and the better part of 1 million people. Well, we know that those numbers are totally off now. So how much money will we actually bring in once all the seats are sold? That's a function of how many seats we're going to give away for free versus how many seats we're going to sell. So when you look at BOGO, you're saying, man, people are getting 2 for 1 on that commission. We're giving away a lot of extra seats there. We say, okay, well, let's eliminate BOGO, and then that way we have more seats to sell. And so that's part of the reason why we're discontinuing BOGO, because we want the average revenue per seat to continue to climb up to 750 million, right? If we can get to 750 as an average revenue per seat, now we take a look at the mine cost, we take a look at the comp plan cost, we take a look at our overhead, we take a look at our marketing that we're spending money on now, we take a look at our, the other things, and still we could have 200 million left over, but we got to get that revenue per seat up a little bit. Even if we held out right now like 635, 650, we'd still be able to put 200 million into promotion and marketing. But then all my profit's gone, and that would be terrible. Is that one of those things where you're not supposed to say the quiet part out loud? It's okay. Only 639 of you have stuck around to hear me babble on at this point. Okay, last question from Sophie. Will the wallet get updated in due course? It's very delayed and slow. Sophie, which wallet are you using? The TexitCoin web wallet is awesome. Wallet.texitcoin.org. Now, you might not be talking about the wallet. You might be talking about the block confirmation times. And again, remember, that's due to our mining volatility right now that we're working on fixing by changing the difficulty adjustment from 3 blocks to more like 2,000 blocks. That would be a really big change. And that way our mining blocks would come out more like every 3-4 minutes, which is what it's supposed to do. And hopefully get us closer to that 95,000 plus per day number. That is it. TXC wallet. Yeah, I would use the web wallet if I were you. The web wallet's really great. But again, I think you're talking about block confirmation times, which is a big problem, and we're working on it. Guys, that's it. Little trip down memory lane. Remember, we don't want to look back too much. We're not trying to second guess ourselves. We're just trying to remember how we got to where we are now, pat ourselves on the back for just a minute, and put our head down and get back to work. Don't lose the forest for the trees. We've come so far. We've done so much, and we're so very, very close to the finish line. A couple more jumps, a couple more doublings, and we're there. That's what's in front of us now that we've got the better enrollment system with the kits on board. Think about it, right? If you sign up and you don't even get your welcome kit for 6 weeks, how are you going to sign up your first 3 people inside of 30 days to get the fast start bonus? It's impossible. But if you sign up, you get your welcome kit in 2-3 days. Next thing you know, you're learning a lot. You're enjoying it. You're convinced that you made the good decision. You're sharing our story. You're engaged. You're helping us grow. That's what we're doing. We're ready to scale. We're ready for you guys to continue doing the work that you're doing so well. That includes you, Laurel. And we're excited to hit the finish line, fill the seats on the rocket ship, and blast off. Thank you so much, everyone, for helping us get to where we are today. I really appreciate it. Like I said before, I hope you're having as much fun as I'm having. This is a blast for me, and I will be a little sad when those seats are full. but I'll move on to phase 2, and I'll invite you to join me on phase 3 and phase 4 and all the other wonderful, bountiful things that are coming our way. It's really great. I'm Bobby Gray. I'm the founder of this thing. That's Robbie Rue. He's my right-hand man over here. We've got a great team, guys. We're dedicated to our mutual success, and we really appreciate your participation in this little adventure of ours. Thanks so much again for joining, and have a great night.